Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Ian Parkinson, and I'm here today with Rob Pape, the president of the Medicine Hat Folk Music Society. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, before we get to the folk club, let's talk about Tongue on Post. This is your yearly banner event. How many years have you been doing TOP?
So the Folk Music Club, this is our 18th edition of the Tongue on the Post Festival.
So you've seen it grow, obviously, in a few years.
Yeah, I've been with the organization for the last 10 years. So it's been pretty amazing to watch the growth of what we've accomplished.
Now, do you do this on your own, or do you have support?
Well, we have a board of about 12 individuals that work with us year round, and then come festival time, we operate generally within about 80 to 100 volunteers to facilitate the festival over what was normally 6 days that we've now turned into 7 this year.
Okay, so this is now January of 24. When are you holding this year's Tongue on Post?
So the Tongue on the Post starts on Monday, January 22nd, and runs straight through till Sunday, January 28th. And
is there one main location, or are you all over town?
So the majority of the events will be held at Medalta Potteries. We love the crown jewel of Medicine Hat and the historic Medicine Hat or Medalta Potteries. We have our kickoff event, which is our supper and song event. This year we're going to hold it down at Moro's Italian Cafe and Bar down in Riverside.
Yes.
We have the amazing multi-awarded blues goddess Susie Vinnick coming to perform with us, and it's just going to be an incredible night. And Moro's has lined up an amazing menu of food, and people are going to be pretty impressed.
So how can people get tickets?
So tickets are available through Eventbrite with the Tongue on the Post 2024. Okay. Our website, topfest.ca, and mhfolkmusic.com.
Okay, so do you have other artists coming in from out of town?
We have many artists coming in from out of town. So Monday's our kickoff with the supper and song. So the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, are all held at Medalta inside of their extremely unique, the Brick Beehive Kiln.
Wow.
And so that's one of our very coveted events that we've become known for is putting on these very intimate shows inside of a brick kiln where you're not going to find it anywhere else in the world.
But Medalta is a very unusual venue for a folk music festival.
I disagree. I think it's the perfect venue in Medicine Hat.
Why is that?
Folk is all about connection and connecting with people and individuals generally through song.
Okay.
You take a place like Medalta and the history, those walls have soul.
Yeah.
And so when we're there, it's almost like you're experiencing multiple things, not just the music festival, but, you're experiencing a place that, people have, worked before you for over 100 years.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's the perfect place to put on a folk festival.
It's an awesome facility, without a doubt. What made you pick January?
So the original founding members, when they started out, all being folk music lovers and attending, folk music festivals throughout the provinces. And so the majority of those happen in the summertime. Mm. And so there wasn't really anything going on in the winter. And so when they come up with the idea and actually implemented our first Tongue on the Post festival 18 years ago, they were the first winter folk music festival in Western Canada. And so we've had a number of other festivals pop up now in the last 5 to 8 years. Regina now does one, Calgary now does one, Edmonton does, but these places weren't around before. And so it was an opportunity to, first and foremost, put money in musicians' pockets in a time when they're generally looking for work. It's not their busy time of year. It's also a time when folk club members aren't going to festivals and taking in the stuff that they enjoy doing. So it's kind of the off season from when they're able to go out and look at all these other festivals and what they're doing and who's performing there.
Oh,
and
like
so
a scout.
It became the perfect mix. And, we've been quite known for it now. with having this winter festival in January, when people are starting to get the winter blues, and they've been the excitement of Christmas is over, and they're kind of locked in their house, and we have a couple of bad weeks like we've had here in the last couple of weeks where it's minus 30, minus 40, almost minus 50 with the wind chills. An opportunity like Tongue on the Post, we generally have pretty good weather. Looking ahead at the forecast for this year's festival, we're averaging about a +5 next week.
Good.
That's not what the last few weeks have been like. And so it's just always worked out for us in that manner.
Excellent. How did you come up with the name Tongue on Post?
So the founding members of the Folk Music Club had come up with the name of, Tongue on the Post, looking for a unique, name of the festival, being a winter festival. And so it, kind of became a bit of a tongue-in-cheek type of a branding, and it really stuck, and everybody just loved it. Everybody's got a story, whether it was themselves or someone they knew or a sibling, as children that have gone through the proverbial sticking their tongue on a post, and so it definitely resonates with a number of individuals.
Excellent. Do you have local artists get involved as well?
Yes, very much so. And so Friday night is our local singer-songwriter night. And so it's a free event, free to the community. We do accept donations that evening, but nobody is, there's no onus to buy a ticket or anything like that. It's generally a full night. It's capacity of 400 people in that room, and we generally fill it with people coming to watch the locals. It's always amazing. We're so lucky in Medicine Hat. We're blessed with an absolute abundance of phenomenally talented musicians and artists in this community. And Medicine Hat, for the last number of years, has really been growing to be known for our arts sector and, the musicians and artists that that do come out of Medicine Hat. And so it's a great opportunity for us to highlight those local musicians and their talents. And right. We also, take the opportunity to sprinkle them in throughout the shows on Saturday when we have other local or other touring artists involved, so that we can provide an opportunity where those musicians can then connect with other touring artists and hopefully help elevate their careers and progress them along in their music careers.
It's very admirable of you to put all this on. How many people does it take to host a Tongue on Post festival?
Well, like I said, we have the board, our solid board of 12 individuals, and then we work with Medalta and their staff, as well as bringing forth anywhere from 80 to 100 volunteers to facilitate the event. And so it's a good trade-off with the volunteers, where they'll volunteer their time and be a part of the festival, and in turn they're able to stick around and participate in the festival that day. That and our coveted tie-dyed T-shirts that everybody will see during the festival. Right. The only way to get one of those tie-dyed shirts is to be a volunteer. We don't sell those shirts at all, and so it's a bit of a badge of honor.
Yes.
We implemented those tie-dyed shirts at our 10-year anniversary. Every year before that, the volunteers got a different colored shirt than the year before. Well, there's only so many colors in the color wheel when you're ordering T-shirts. And so when we were looking at celebrating our 10th year, we thought, well, why can't we put all these colors together? A tie-dyed shirt certainly ties in with a folk music festival. And our volunteers took to it like you can't even imagine. And like I said, so that's become, the real badge of honor of a volunteer is being able to have their tie-dyed T-shirt.
I shall make an effort to watch for them. Now, is it just folk music, or are there other types of music?
Well, that's the beauty of folk music. Folk music, you can kind of almost wrap anything into folk music. It all derives from folk music. Folk music to me and to us, is a message for the people. And so, it doesn't always come from an individual with a banjo. There's many different realms. Led Zeppelin originally was a folk band.
Yeah.
And so, we can kind of play with that a little bit. And, country has really taken on the folk or roots Americana, as they call it now, and are even recognizing that in their awards, at the major awards ceremonies and stuff. So folk is definitely making a resurgence in that realm, and we're able to invite a larger group of individuals and artists as opposed to, one instrument and one individual.
So if anybody's curious, buy a ticket, show up.
Absolutely.
So the Medicine Hat Folk Club, do you do other events besides Tongue on Post?
We do. And so we run a concert series throughout the year. We've got a number of concerts coming up. We've got Martin Joseph coming back. We've got Big Little Lions coming. We've got Abigail Lapel. And so all of these shows are about to be announced and released right away. This is, kind of a sneak peek. We haven't even announced these yet. And so that works out great. As well as we've taken a break for the last couple of years throughout, COVID. the COVID break that we had all taken. But prior to that, we'd run a singer-songwriter night monthly. And so we're working on implementing that back in the community and trying to get that back in a position where we can help equip our local artists with tools to better suit their needs in their career ahead of them.
Can give them some exposure to different styles, I suppose.
Yeah, different styles, different opportunities. People, growing up and learning music, you take music lessons. Nobody really teaches musicians the business side of music. And so that's where, the Folk Music Club has an opportunity where, some of these artists can use help learning how to set up touring or promote themselves as an artist, or any avenue that we can help an artist better their career. The Folk Music Club would like to be there to be able to help facilitate that.
So for the Folk Music Club, do you use other venues beside Medalta?
Yeah, we've used a number of venues in town. Medalta is kind of the homestay, and the festival, will stay there. We've done a number of shows at Stir Studio, which is an amazing little gem in Medicine Hat that a lot of people don't even realize is here. It's literally $1 million recording studio, hidden in a building in Medicine Hat that, seats 160, and it's, one of the most intimate, comfortable, best sounding venues you can find. We've done shows at, some summertime shows. We work with the cafes downtown. We do a cafe concert series. Generally, we have done that in the past throughout the week of Topfest. And the club and the board has decided that, that's better suited to be able to do in the summer months when we can really utilize these cafes and outdoor venues downtown and throughout the community to just keep the music going.
Yeah, because I noticed on the documentary on your website, you use the Squirrel and Moose.
Yeah, Moose and Squirrel. Beautiful venue. We love those guys. Station Coffee, Inspire Cafe, Zucchini Blossom, Cafe Verve. All, a number of cafes and coffee shops that we, like to support and, put on these little shows in.
Do you have a youth program?
We don't at the moment.
Okay. But this is open to all ages.
Yes, there's no age limit on any of the things that we do. Some venues, obviously require people to be of age and stuff. But we actually, we make a real effort to try and make sure that these are set up in a manner that everybody can come and everybody's welcome.
Okay. Do you have any plans for the future? Obviously, besides other Tongue on Post and your 20-year celebration.
We're just, we're trying to get better at what we do. We're always striving to be better, to do better things, to connect with our community any way we can. The Folk Club is very much community oriented. And so we're always looking to our musicians as to, what we can do for them here locally, as well as, the touring artists coming through. And we have great connections with all of them as well. And what we can do in that manner. We've been involved for the last couple of years with the Canadian Folk Music Awards. And so, we'd love to be able to host them here someday. And just looking forward to the festival and regular programming throughout the year.
Now, you mentioned earlier when we were talking before the program that you're actually a judge for the National Folk Music.
Yeah, so I've judged the Canadian Folk Music Awards now for the last 2 years, and it's been a very insightful opportunity. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to get involved like that, and it also allows us as an organization to see and connect with a greater audience of musicians nationally, as opposed to just those individuals that send us requests to be able to perform here.
Do we have any Medicine Hat musicians who are nationally or internationally renowned?
Phyllis St. Clair.
Yes.
Phyllis is, she was actually, very instrumental in the early days of the folk club and the festival as well. Phyllis was a big part of beginning our singer-songwriter night. And so Phyllis has really found some recognition in the last couple of years. She's an absolutely amazing Indigenous, singer-songwriter.
Right.
And is finally receiving the national recognition that she deserves.
Yeah.
She's worked extremely hard at that, and it's well overdue.
Yeah, Rod Hudek's name, I know because I've seen it on the posters and the advertising, and he's in your documentary. He's obviously well known around here.
Yeah, Rob Hudek's another phenomenal musician. We have a lot of musicians that we work with that have really produced themselves in a phenomenal manner, and we love to be able to showcase those. Getting things into the national level of award ceremonies and things like that becomes a much different game.
Yeah.
But we've had some, fairly local, winners that we know. John Ward Hannum, who's headlining the festival this year. He's a Lethbridge artist.
Close enough.
Yeah, and so he won the Contemporary Album of the Year last year at the Canadian Folk Music Awards, and
excellent.
It was great to be able to be there and share that with him in Vancouver while we were there.
So you're a musician as well?
No, sir.
You're not?
I haven't played a piano since I was probably about 12 years old. I did piano lessons for years as a kid. Now I handle the business side of things.
So how did you get involved?
Well, that's my wife. So my wife, my mother-in-law is a folk musician in Ontario. And so, my wife grew up in a household with a folk musician her whole life. And so when she moved here to Medicine Hat, she actually became the bookkeeper for the folk music club. And so at the time, that was her gig, her thing. And I was always out riding my motorcycle with my buddies. And, this was shortly before we were married. And she asked, why don't you come spend one night a month with me and do something together? And so, parked the motorcycle for a night a month and started coming to the Folk Music Club as a volunteer and helping out where I could. And I volunteered at the festival and whatnot for a couple of years. An opportunity came about where the former artistic director, Darla Sawaski, who was one of the founding members, Darla had been with the organization for 10 years and had put a lot of work into, starting the organization and whatnot. And she felt it was time for her to, take a break. And so the opportunity came about to, learn from Darla and step into the role. And I've been here ever since.
It's amazing how we back into these things.
It's a thankful blessing. I'm truly thankful for the Folk Music Club and what it's done in my life, and it's truly helped shape and direct my life for the last decade.
Well, it's obviously paying off, because I look at the popularity and the size of the Tongue on Post Festival and the number of people who speak about it. You're obviously meeting with success.
We feel that we've done a pretty good job. Our real highlight was, as much as it was a downtime, during COVID, we adapted to the ability of taking it to a live stream. And, in 2021, we were the first ones in the province to be able to get approval to do so. And we still did the live stream from Medalta, from within the kiln. And, in that week, we reached over 85,000 people, which was pretty neat for a small group of folkies from, a community of 65,000 people.
So, you've obviously seen a huge growth in technology with doing the festivals.
We adapted where we could. I think everybody did what they could in those times to find a way to still connect. I mean, with everybody being stuck at home, they needed, music and the arts more than ever.
Yeah.
And so, we recognized that and knew that, one way or another, we had to get music to those individuals, and we were met with great response.
So are you going to continue with the live streaming?
We're not doing the live streaming this year.
Okay.
We're focusing on having everybody in place and being back together. It's something that we've spoken about revisiting. But there's a fine line in that realm, because there is also an extraordinary cost that comes with that.
Yes.
And so, as a small nonprofit group, we have to really find the balance between that. The budget that we work off of to put on this now 7 days of music, most other festivals pay that in taxes.
Yeah.
A lot of these festivals are $2 million plus budgets. We're not those people.
Wow.
We think we do a phenomenal job with what we have, and we absolutely couldn't do it without the sponsors that we have and the support from places like the City of Medicine Hat and the federal government with Canadian Heritage. They're absolutely instrumental in keeping these organizations and these festivals alive.
Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
I'm just super thankful for the opportunity. We've got an amazing week coming up next week with Tongue on the Post. We're always excited to have everybody back. There isn't a day that you can't pick that isn't going to be, mind-blowing. To come and experience a concert inside of a brick beehive kiln with, 70 other individuals, it's just something that you almost can't describe in words. It's magical. Our Saturday main day, we've got shows running from 1 till 9. That's 8 hours of music for $30. You really can't stretch your dollars any further than that. And we've always really tried to make sure that everything is affordable for our community. It's too easy to continue to say, oh, we'll just up the price. We'll just up the price, and we can't do that. We feel we're already at kind of a threshold with pricing for our community, and without our community, we're nothing. So we all got to work together.
So once again, if somebody wants to go or they want to see what's involved, where do they go and how do they get the tickets?
So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, our website, mhfolkmusic.com. We also have topfest.ca, topfest.ca. Tickets are on Eventbrite, but they're also able to be found on our social media as well as our website.
Thanks. Well, thank you for coming. I look forward to the festival next week. I think it's going to be awesome. Thank you for having us,
Ian. I appreciate it. We appreciate you guys, keeping the community connected.
Thank you for your awesome work.
Thank you.
This was Community Conversations with Rob Pape from the Music Festival Club. Thank you for watching.